hope you can see the screen okay here. Your main hosts today are myself, Jason Vokes, and Pavel Glaki. So we're getting quite a few people collecting up as they take their seats for this session today. So I will explain a little bit about what we're looking to achieve with the whole Developer Direct piece in a minute. But first off, say hi, Pav.
Hey, welcome. Good morning here from Amsterdam on this very first series of the very first webinar in the series.
Good. So I'm over in the UK. John Harrison's joined us too. So we've got a team of guys. Say hi, John.
Hey, everyone.
Good. So what we're looking to do with these Developer Direct is really enable. We've heard really over the last few months, there's obviously many people out there in the developer community. There's loads of new resources coming online. There's loads of excitement around really amazing technologies such as FireMonkey. There's new paradigms such as cloud, ever-increasing number of tiers to add as you apply your applications in very different ways. So what we wanted to do was to start a way in which you could literally directly communicate with Embarcadero, connect up developers from around the world, invite along guests and luminaries. So I guess it's halfway between a kind of radio show and I won't say TV show, but kind of like a because there are potentially sort of videos we can show, snippets of interviews with market leaders, people that use Embarcadero products, people that influence the market in more general. So we like to have guests along as well as we host these sessions and take your questions as well. So we'll get to some of the questions a bit later on in the session that have already been submitted up front to today's session and on ongoing events as well. But let's I guess really just set the scene a little bit as we go through. So for these Developer Direct online sessions, this is the schedule for the next few weeks, and really we're pretty keen for you to say what you need from these, what you'd like us to show, what you'd like to share as well with other developers, and this is why we set up some of the online services that show and enable people to interact with each other, such as the Twitter stuff that I'll go through in a minute around the Developer Direct initiative. This first session, we set it up a little bit tongue-in-cheek, I must admit, with convince your boss to upgrade you to Rad Studio XE2, and this was actually Stephen Ball's fault. No, I should take responsibility as well. But he suggested this with regards to, I guess, a sort of overview of where people are with regards to the technology they use, where they want to take it, what they've seen in XE2, what they like, and also maybe what they need from us to help you convince your business to actually get you up on the latest technologies and be able to move your software forward with some of these paradigm changes, with some of this very disruptive, in quotes, technologies that we've been introducing that really do change the game, and we'll be talking about some of those in a moment. Was that really the idea behind this, Pavel, that you picked up from our conversations through the last week? That's what I really picked up.
Yeah, I think that's the pretty important thing is to have fun around programming, and there is so much new stuff in the XE2 that I'm sure is going to be very informative, and also what is, I think, quite important, relaxed session, so it's both a good time to spend time and also learn something new, maybe see something visually stunning, and it's going to be good fun.
Good, yeah, that's right. Actually, it's one of the most important things is taking it steady through these weeks. Quite a relaxed approach to the sessions. What we'll probably do actually as we go into subsequent weeks is to put out to people that register for the series and put out some code that you can try. So if you've got XE2, you can load it up and run the project, or if you don't, you can install the trial and give this a go as we're working through some of these topics as we go through through the subsequent weeks. There's obviously quite a lot around, I guess, the very independent nature of the Delphi developer by definition, around the multi-platform drive that we've now got. We'll look actually at some of the market type stuff as well in this session, as we see the very varied and increasing use of other platforms. We'll get into that in a minute, really. But through this schedule, you'll see there's plenty of time to go through. If you've not heard an awful lot about FireMonkey, we'll go through some of the resources as well, that are online in a bit. Looking at scalable development with DataSnap, then really back to some real focus sessions, such as the language, the 64-bit compiler, looking at what RTTI means and all of the stuff that you can now get from the developments in RTTI over the last few versions. Data being ever important, and really not just even though data persistence is really key and a huge part of some of the upcoming sessions, but also data transformation and what that means in this context. Very specifically getting through, we've got a lot of people that are taking their Windows application products and looking to move them over to other platforms, either to mobile, such as iPhone and iPad, in the sessions that are coming up in a few weeks' time, but also the whole idea of being able to just sit and bridge Windows and Mac, and we'll look at why this is really important in many of the major markets, and I guess also actually some of the fluctuations from market to market, and explaining some of the piece behind that, why we've invested so much in enabling the multi-platform development initiative over this last version, and what it will mean as we move forward. But also cloud, we actually, in the European region especially, we've been working specifically with the Amazon guys, going to their conferences, and if you'd like to hear more from them specifically, we can get in touch with the Amazon guys and look at what they mean by their AWS platform, and how they see it being used by small, medium-sized, and huge organizations. But that RAD Cloud session on the 15th is specifically around the Delphi support for RAD. I know that Pavel's done some great work. We've all got Amazon accounts. It can literally go from kind of $10 a month for personal benefit for really scalable services up to huge presence in the cloud. And of course, let's not forget the Microsoft Azure, and being able to call into a lot of organizations and work in conjunction with their Windows and Microsoft developers, and RAD Studio can make the most of that kind of cloud services as well. Then as we go through, Pavel, absolutely, you've done a lot of work on that, please.
I'm a big fan of a cloud, and I've been looking into the Amazon Web Services quite a lot, and this is really one of the key new features in the XE2 release, is dedicated support for storing data in the Amazon cloud. So we have plenty of support for Delphi and C++ builder programmers to interact programmatically with the cloud, and I'm sure whenever I present this and in discussions with customers, is very much like a perfect fit. So Amazon has an infrastructure, and we have tools for creating applications and services to run on this infrastructure. And I see more and more people asking at the conferences around what we do next with Amazon cloud. So that's something probably the most interesting server-side technology nowadays.
Nice one, thank you. So then moving through to later sessions with the Agile today, if we look at all the things that enable Agile development, the technologies that we've included to enable a complete and an Agile experience, that's certainly warranted a session in itself. And then once we come to in a couple of months' time, working through to really see this all coming together, and and giving people an opportunity to try things through the weeks, coming back and really getting the most out of either their trialing of XE2 or their day-to-day use of XE2, and sharing it with other developers, so developers can talk direct with one another through this medium, through this initiative, if you like. So we're pretty excited about that. And then we'll cap up the whole season for the European sessions, such as this guy. Then we'll probably take a little bit of a break through the summer for a few weeks over the summer, but we'll also be seeing other local language versions of Developer Direct come online. We're expecting German, Russian, probably even Japanese, Chinese, and other time zones to come on. So obviously for the US time zones, and obviously for the far Asia Pacific time zones, such as Australia, New Zealand, and the like. So over the coming weeks, this whole idea of Developer Direct is around online, but also there's various email addresses that you'll see, like developerdirect.uk@embarcadero.com and other local country extensions. So it's ways that you can really get the support and interaction that you need, all really through we talk to so many developers day to day. It's really so that everyone can use us as resources as part of their sort of everyday work, so that we can help to plug people together and help you get the very most from your development. So talking of that, let's have a look at Developer Direct Online, just a couple of pieces that are pulled together on this slide, just to make sure everyone's aware. Firstly, of course, to sign up for these events, and the whole program, there's a sort of focus EARL, and that's the Developer Direct Online that we've shortened. We've shortened many of these EARLs. It makes it easier for people to maybe use a QR code if they see it in a catalogue or at a show or an event, or obviously out in many of the communications we send. So that's going to be the focus page for these events and many others like them. So for people that might want to join it in German, obviously French actually, Thierry in France has been running Developer Thursdays, which I've absolutely no hesitation in saying were one of the major inspirations for showing this sort of relaxed, online, steady, interactive way of using the online technologies. So even in French language as well, they're going on right now. And so also, I think if you look at Developer Direct in other areas where we've got very key, long-standing luminaries and partners, then we'd be pretty keen to help you set up that sort of developer focus locally. And obviously there's many user groups around the planet that organize their own events, and we'd be pretty delighted to help promote, support those with regards to our sort of global infrastructure that we have at Embarcadero. The other piece that we thought would be very easy to use and scale is to use Twitter for this way. So the conversations, obviously the EMBTD Direct is the Twitter account. So if you want to start following that, you're more than welcome to. And then also the conversation tag, the Discover tag, is EMBTDD. So there's a few welcome messages up there at the start right now. And obviously we'll be monitoring those for questions and comments, and you're more than welcome to start posting stuff and adding details to those as we go through these sessions. It's probably actually the best way, as we've got us who are talking through these sessions and other people around that are monitoring this, of getting quick answers and getting yourself heard through to all the people that are participating in these events as we move forward. Cool. Any comments on that, Pavel, before we move on?
No comments. That's great.
All right, nice one. So what we've really been looking to do through through these sessions. I'll probably swap over to behind this now. We've sort of introduced this stuff. Is just to explain a little bit, if I just get the PowerPoint out of the way and back over to my browser a moment, because there's loads of resources online that we can, we've seen people start working with. If you just come through to the Rad Studio product page for a minute, we started to see a real rise and changes in the market over the last few years, and I think really a specific watershed. And I think maybe David, you've got idea of exactly the date this change is, when people really started to obviously use the internet en masse, but I think it was really only a couple of years ago that people started to use the internet more from mobile devices than desktop devices. And of course that really started the change in the balance of platform use. So we've been obviously supporting Windows very well, very fast, very natively, with amazing support for database technology and the internet through Windows Desktop for how many, 17 years now, as technologies have moved on. And Pavel, even I think it was just the other day on one of your blogs, you were talking about some code of yours that was 20 years old, let alone 17 years old, that you recompiled and used in FireMonkey in the last couple of weeks or so to provide some pretty amazing graphic stuff. But that longevity through the Windows platform is something we've been able to provide. You're going to, in one of these sessions, Pavel, you're going to show that Turbo Pascal stuff coming through to the FireMonkey graphics. Yeah,
that's something that I've been recently working a lot, just to play around the FireMonkey, how you practically do graphics, how to display things. And there is really, it's amazing that you can actually take some existing source code even from the pre-Delphi era, and you can actually still use it. So there's really, that's one of the best stories really around the investment into Pascal and Delphi code. You can really reuse quite a lot. So I was successfully using some of my old Turbo Pascal 5.5 code to do some generation of data for FireMonkey.
A lot of people would say that Pavel doesn't look old enough to have code that old.
Actually, in fact,
we're all very jealous of Pavel's youthful good looks as he goes around doing all these events.
It was exactly half of my life ago that I have been doing this Turbo Pascal 5.5.
Is it lies, or is it plastic surgery?
Yeah, that's both plastic surgery and good genes.
Good genes, yeah. Your genes have always got holes in, Pavel. You buy them that way, I know you do.
Especially if you have a molecule viewer and you display DNA information, you can actually see these holes.
You can actually see that you prove it biologically that you've got good genes. Yeah. So really, if you look at the continuity of code, really, and one of the things that was so significant about the XE release, as we went round doing many live events, and I think it's actually kind of part of my job to add these up as we go through the year. And I think through the year, through international, there was something like 340 odd live events that obviously myself and Pavel and the guys didn't do personally, but there's a huge number of live events that we do. And going around with the pre-XE2, even with XE, we were seeing a big paradigm shift with people splitting their code out away from the desktop for a real business reason this time, so that they can take their code, run it on servers or run it on the cloud, and be able to change their business paradigm so that they could start selling services that would use their algorithms for, I don't know, maybe insurance risk analysis, or, as Pavel said, some kind of statistical analysis around scientific or market information. There's so many different verticals that people work in with the Delphi technologies. So that was a really significant shift with the XE release previously, as people understood they could kind of take and break their code free of the UI with a real business reason to do that now, and then really prepare themselves as we came through to XE2, because obviously with XE2, having separated out their back end or separated out their business code to be running on a logical or physically separate back end, maybe even on a highly scalable cloud server somewhere. Then you're now looking at the opportunity to start having very rich and capable client applications calling through to those logically or now primarily physically separated back-end business rule servers. So that was one of the things that I think was really significant as we went through the last 18 months or so, talking to so many people, preparing ahead of the XE2 release to make sure that people understood that they really should be separating out their business code wherever they could, logically, to then prepare to separate it out physically. So that's one of the things that we really saw in the market as starting off from people's internet use being away from the desktop and seeing many millions and millions of devices, and also really the demands of users. There's quite a few statistics actually that I'll pull back to in a minute, maybe after we've done some demos in a sec and get through to be able to provide people some statistics that they can use in their own work as they explain and educate maybe inside their organization